Hi garden volunteers. This second video is modeling how I would talk to the kids directly in working this station to do the rolling of the pots. In the third video, I'll provide some side commentary and tips on how to handle some scenarios and curveballs that might happen. Okay, so the bell has just rung and the kids run over. Boys and girls, I need somebody here, somebody here, somebody here, and somebody here. So evenly spread yourselves out along the sides of the table. Then each of you should take one piece of rectangular paper and put it in front of you horizontally. Now we're going to start folding. The piece should be in front of you. You should have your palms on top of it so that it doesn't fly away. Now you're going to pretend that you're going to fold it in half, but don't do that. Actually, I want you to pull it back about a ½ inch and then press down and get that nice sharp crease there. Okay? Everybody got that? Let's wait for the team to catch up. When everybody has that almost folded in half, but not, pulled back about a ½ inch, then I want you to rotate this now skinnier rectangle so that it's pointing away from you. Okay? So everybody has their paper pointing away from them. All right. Now each of you should have a tomato paste can, which is just the right size for our seedlings. And I want you to notice that the rectangle in front of you has a folded side and a flappy side. We are going to take our tomato paste can and we're going to rest it over the folded side. And that's where we're going to start wrapping it. And remember, we're going to check for two things because you guys are really smart. Now, you see this line here that's forming at the top of our cylinder along the top edge? I want to make sure that as I roll, that this line continues to meet that line. Okay, that this line continues to meet that line as I roll. And that might mean adjusting your can a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right to continue meeting that line as you roll. The other thing that you want to be checking for is that there's about a thumb's width of can poking out. Okay, so to repeat, you're rolling the can over the folded side. You have about a thumb's width of the can poking out, and as you roll, you're looking up above and you are making sure that this line continues to meet this line, that edge, as you roll. Okay, everyone? Go ahead and roll, and when you get it all rolled up, you will freeze and wait for instruction. Just hold it like this, okay? All right, if anybody needs help, go ahead and give me a holler. All right, so I'm going to circulate around the table, help those kids who are struggling, and as each child is ready, you guys are frozen and holding this like this. Now, everyone, you see, I've got this nice cylinder. I've got about a thumb's width of the can poking out the bottom, and if I don't have enough, I might put it down and kind of just pull the sleeve up a little bit. So now there's a thumb's width poking out the bottom. I have the can touching the table, and I have my fingers wrapped around it so that it's holding it nice and tight. You see this flap that wants to run away? It's really bothering us. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take our thumbs and we're gonna press down on the flap so that the whole thing is resting along the top of that can. Then the next step is I'm going to fold across and make sure that that flap is resting flat against the can. And what ends up happening is you end up with this cute little kitty cat ears on the top. So if you have those little kitty cat ears, you know you're on the right path. Then I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to press down those kitty cat ears. Press them down, so no more cat ears. Everybody with me? All right. Help your neighbor if you need some help. Now notice this here is looking pretty good. I've mushed down all the sides, kind of like when you're rolling coins in a paper tube, which some of you still have experience doing. But this is kind of a bumpy butt on my can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to put that bumpy side on the table. Then I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to press down. I'm going to really press down so that I flatten out that bumpy butt of my can pot. Once I've flattened it, I'm going to gently pull out the tomato paste can, and I'm left with almost a finished pot. Looks great. I'm going to set aside the can. Now it's looking awesome. This bottom, it's a little bit loose, but that's okay because we want the roots to eventually be able to push through that bottom. So we're okay with that being loose. Plus, once it's sitting in the plastic tray, it'll be supported so that the dirt doesn't fall out below. At the top though, there's one thing that's really bugging us still. You see this flap that's wanting to kind of rebel? We're going to take that top, that flap, and we are going to fold it into the inside of the cylinder, about a ½ an inch. And then I'm going to keep folding all the way around the opening of this little cylinder. And what that does is two things. Number one, it tucks that flap inside so it won't run away. Number two, it reinforces the mouth of our pot, so now we have a nice reinforced edge all the way around. Okay? I'm going to hold this here in my hand, and I'm going to either make one pot or 3 or 4 pots, whatever the plan is for the day. And then I'm going to head to the next station where I will fill them with soil and seeds. Good job, everyone.